go time.
The boys are back. That's right, Florida Man Sports is here with another exciting episode. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is Florida Man Sports.
Welcome back to Florida Man Sports.
Let's go.
Now, Chris, the wild card weekend just came and went.
Yeah.
There was a lot of duds in those games, but we have some games that most people are expecting to possibly be classics here. So
Yes.
we'll get into all that this show. We're going to get into some of the coaching in news that came in. We'll get into that a little later, but we got to start the show off, Chris, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We say farewell to our final Florida team. They had a good run. They did what they needed to do. But maybe you disagree with me. You have any parting words for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chris?
Yeah, of course. Always want to remind you guys that Florida Man Sports is streaming on all major platforms, so please like, share, subscribe. Johnny, what would you grade the Tampa Bay Bucs this season? I got my grade. I want to hear yours.
For me, it's an A. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they exceeded my expectations. They had a lot of injuries. They essentially ran it back with the same team. I wasn't even expecting this team to make it to the playoffs. Yes, they lost in the first round. It's a close game, Chris, but they exceeded my expectations.
I appreciate the A, but it's a B minus. A B minus, only because if you don't win at least a game in the playoffs, for me, you don't get an A. So
you look at the roster, Chris.
It's a B minus for all the things that you've mentioned. What I will tell you, Buck fans out there, is number one, we're young. Number two, we're bringing over 70% of our team back. We got to re-sign Godwin. Looking at the future, we got to hope that Levante David wants to come back for one more year. And we have more cap room right now than we did at this point last year. So there's a lot of things to look forward to. All I want to say, Johnny, I don't want to talk about the game. We know what happened in the game. We could have won. We lost the game. Bottom line is this, folks. The future is bright for Tampa. Guys like him and all the pundits in the offseason that already wrote the Atlanta Falcons as the paper NFC South champions. The Bucs are going to own this division for a long time to come, Johnny. That's the bottom farewell I'll give to the Bucs this season. B minus, but the future's bright.
Okay. I gave props to the Bucs, but let's be real here.
Calling a spade, man.
No, you're not, because the NFC South is pretty pathetic. You know, it always has been. It's been for some time. So, yes, they made the playoffs. They wouldn't have made the playoffs in any other division. And the Falcons.
Kirk Cousins.
Okay. Bring up Kirk Cousins.
You had him winning you had him going to the NFC Championship game.
Okay. It doesn't matter. The Falcons are a joke. You saw what the decisions they've made. So regardless of that, I had them there. Stop hyping up the Bucs like the future is so bright. Signing Godwin? No, dude. Listen, I'm a fan of Godwin. Godwin, so many injuries. I'm sorry. Hey, the business part is what takes over here.
Right.
Godwin, you're not going to resign.
And did you see how we have signed? Did you see how we drafted Jalen McMillan? Did you see how we signed? We have the future wide receivers there, so we can afford to sign Godwin on a 2-3-year deal to help that continuation, so that from Mike Evans to McMillan, it's a smooth transition. You're crazy. That makes no sense, and Buck fans know
what
that.
The Bucs need is to revamp that O-line. What the Bucs need is to go ahead and revamp that secondary. The Bucs need
the secondary.
The Bucs need to
Somebody doesn't know a lot of football.
Anyway, the Bucs need to spend money on defense and protecting their quarterback. That's what they need to spend their money on and their draft picks on. So, yes, McMillan, he's there. If there's a late round gem, which we'll discuss,
Palmer,
we have our draft show. We'll discuss a couple different things there that maybe they should pick up one more wide receiver. Not a first rounder, not a second rounder, but there's some gems later in the draft.
We'll go more into it because they got to focus on defense.
And we'll get into it. But no, Godwin, we thank you for your service. It's too bad. That dude was so talented. It was a great pick, but injuries, it just keeps happening there. Keeps happening for this guy. This guy should have had multiple Pro Bowls. It's just injuries kept him.
He'll be back next season. He'll be a Buck.
I don't think they should. You really think they should pay this guy?
Absolutely.
That's not a loyalty. It's not the business side of it.
No.
You paid Mike Evans, not just loyalty, production. And Godwin produces, but he's constantly injured. And these are not minor injuries. These are major injuries.
You have to remember that this kid is 28 years old, entering the prime of his career right now.
3 injuries.
It doesn't matter. He's 20 years old, entering the prime. And it's also not just the stats that he puts up when he's healthy. It's what he does to relieve Mike Evans, to relieve McMillan, which is why he's going to get picked.
He's not relieving McMillan. He was honestly
will be
when Godwin was healthy. He was like the number one there. Him and Baker. He was exceeding. He would have exceeded Baker exceeded Evans' numbers this year if he played all the games. He just didn't. So what's your greatest ability is availability.
Yeah.
And Godwin, you'll be here saying that
3-year contract, he'll get it done.
Godwin, if he does re-sign with Tampa, it's going to be like ridiculously low. You're not going to go ahead and get what you think you're worth because of the injuries, and that's just how it is. But I don't think you should go ahead and go with Godwin. The Bucs, I think you should move on from him, thank him for his service. You got a ring out of it. Now time to move on. But Chris, let's go ahead and start into the fun divisional playoffs are coming up this upcoming weekend. We're all excited about it. The Bucs, they went out to the Commanders, so we'll start off with that. The Commanders are facing Detroit Lions. The Lions are a 10-point favorite, which is a big deal in the NFL. 10 points. Who you got here, Chris?
So look, this is why you tune into Florida Man Sports, because you get two different perspectives. The Florida Man perspective, that is. And let me be very clear: nobody has Washington winning this game. Furthermore, the Commanders, they're enjoying this little tag that they're playing under called the underdog tag. They're enjoying this. They're relishing in this opportunity. If you heard the speeches prior to the game against the Bucs. With that being said, Johnny, give me the Lions to win at home.
It's about time. Jeez.
So I've got the Lions losing next week. Give me the Lions to win this week. I'm jumping ahead.
You're already saying it. All right.
Yep, I'm taking the points.
You don't care who they're playing.
I'm taking the points.
Okay.
It's all part of my plan. But kudos to Washington. Kudos for them doing something that nobody. I don't even think the Commanders expected themselves to be in the playoffs, let alone win a playoff game this season with Jaden Daniels. So kudos to all of them. Rookie of the year. But the Lions got this one.
All respect to the Commanders, who, with a second year in a row, a rookie wins a playoff game. So the Commanders, they're not that much better than the Bucs. They won that game. Like I said, they're going to win it because the Buccaneers were just depleted. There were just injuries happened. Yes, you got a couple players back, but you guys
had the fumble in the fourth quarter. We beat ourselves.
I get it. It's just enough of that beat ourselves things. They forced that fumble, so the defense did their job. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were running on fumes, and the Commanders took advantage of it. But they're coming up against a buzzsaw in the Detroit Lions. Yes, I get it in the underdog. I get all that nonsense there. And Jaden Daniels can do some damage to this defense. But no, the Detroit Lions are winning.
This would be one of those biblical proportion if they lost, I think, for the Lions.
I don't know. We saw, I know Minnesota lost last week, and people were talking about 14-3, they lose. I saw a Dante Culpepper led one-loss Minnesota Vikings team that went out. They had the bye week, came out, they were out, one and done. So
we both picked the Lions. Let's give the fans a little percentage. What is the percentage probability of the Lions winning this game? I'm gonna say 93%.
I mean, that's really high. I don't think any playoff game has a probability that high because there's still good teams. What I said, it was a 10-point favorite, and very rarely in the NFL you see a double-digit favorite, especially in the playoffs. 10 points. I mean, honestly, for me,
what's your percentage? What do you put them
at? I put them at 69%.
Oh wow, get out of here.
What? That's still high, bro.
No,
okay, it's fine. All right, Chris, we're moving on to the next team. The Texans, surprisingly, Chris, the Texans, again, C.J. Stroud, even though he had that bumpy year, leads his team to another playoff win. And their reward for that is they get to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Who you got here? The Kansas City Chiefs are a 7.5-point favorite here, Chris, in Kansas City. Who you got?
Public service announcement. Florida Man Sports, on all major platforms.
Okay.
The Texans are a pretty good football team. They're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
And they're during the season, they were underachievers during the season. C.J. Stroud struggled. Everyone said it. All the pundits did. But they're playing some complete football the last few weeks.
They have. Yeah.
With that being said, the Chiefs are at home, and I understand that. They're 7.5-point favorites. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Houston Texans are going to beat the Chiefs
You're damn.
on the road.
You're damn.
They're gonna beat them. And listen, this is all going to make you wonder when they win, just how good they could have been with Diggs, how good they could have been with Dell. But nevertheless, they have enough to beat the Chiefs. Everyone has said this, including this guy, this season, that the Chiefs somehow get lucky. I don't know how they keep winning. They're like the worst team that continues to win. Your luck runs out in the playoffs, folks, and it's going to happen here, Florida Man Sports.
Yes. I'm not going to disagree with you that the Texans can match up. Honestly, I think the Texans are a better team than the Chiefs.
Yeah.
most of the teams that played the Chiefs were better than the Chiefs.
Correct.
But nobody has what the Chiefs have in that 12th man in stripes. Okay, I'm sorry.
We're never going to get vindication.
I'm telling you right now. I know Florida Man Sports. We're going to continue to do this. We enjoy it. We have our sponsors. We got a lot of people listening. We appreciate it. If the Kansas City Chiefs win this year, I'm done with NFL. I'm done. I'm done. This team is not good. That's like we've been watching football and certain things that have happened. You know, like we had strike seasons. We've had the whole thing with Kaepernick. We had so many different things that kind of made, and, you know, everything with concussions and everything has changed in football that kind of gives you, like, it turns you off from the game.
Sure.
If the Kansas City Chiefs win this year, and it's not being a hater, I'm so tired.
He's a hater.
No.
He's a Brady lover. We know the history, and he can't have Mahomes take over Daddy.
Listen, if you get it, you get it. That's fine.
Okay.
If you went ahead and earn it, Brady has endless just highlight reel stuff that wins you these championships, that puts his team on his back and won it. Mahomes has those too.
I know as you get older.
More Mahomes highlights just show it's a flag.
I know as you get older,
John.
Johnny.
Super Bowls on flags. 2 out of 3 Super Bowls.
It's so funny how history works sometimes. Throughout the years that this guy was winning championships and Brady was getting flags, Brady was getting calls, and that was happening during that time. I can admit you can't because you're just a fanboy. But, what would happen? Oh, nobody then. Oh, Brady was innocent then. No, Brady got his calls too. Brady had his... So don't sit here and say, Kansas City wins again. I'm no longer watching the NFL.
With the NFL.
How did fans do it for many years watching the Patriots play and still watch the NFL?
Dude, it's not the same thing. Anyone who's been following football for as long as we have, who's lived through the Brady era and the Mahomes era,
right?
He's exactly what one of our shows, I mentioned a stat going over it, kind of like how it's a ridiculous amount of flags they get. Like, he had twice as many interceptions. He should have, but he had like 20-something interceptions that were, rebuked because of the a flag. So it's kind of
you got that trigger you right there.
No, it's just ridiculous. I'm not. You're not triggering me. The NFL's triggering me. That's why I'm like, for me to be here, be like, yo, if Patrick Mahomes wins another Super Bowl, I'm done.
You don't have to worry because I picked the Houston Texans to upset the Chiefs.
They're not doing it.
Okay, so you're picking the Chiefs to win. Okay, that's what we wanted here, the prediction. So you picked the Chiefs?
I know, but I'm going to go on my rant. So 7.5-point favorites. They're playing in Kansas City. This team doesn't lose in Kansas City. I mean, obviously not in the regular season and the playoffs, Chris. You expect them to lose to the Texans?
I do. I can see that. I can see them losing, and they will.
I disagree with you, but that's fine. We'll see what happens here, Chris. Surprisingly, the Rams, they went ahead and beat the Vikings there. Nobody was really expecting it, but we should have when we recorded. The LA Fires weren't really in the news. We weren't really discussing, but they put the city on their back and they won it for the city with all the terrible things happening in Los Angeles. So respect to the Rams for doing it, but their reward is they get to face the Philadelphia Eagles. We're a 6.5-point favorite. Who you got here, Chris?
So this is another tough one, kind of like the Chiefs and the Texans game, because the Eagles, who played really, really well down the stretch, Johnny, they did not look like the Eagles. If you watched them against the Packers, they did not look like that. The Packers could have won that game. There's so many opportunities, so many missed opportunities for the Eagles that has me concerned. On the other hand, they are at home again. And so home for the Eagles especially is definitely good to them. They're 8-1 at home right now. So I'm going to give this game to the Eagles. I'm going to give it to them to see that they got lucky last game and get things together. And then again, like I said, it's going to be Eagles for the NFC going to the NFC Championship game.
No. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're going – I told you, I talked about Sirianni. He's going to be done. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl or gets to the Super Bowl, they're going to get rid of him. He dropped the ball by not letting Barkley get this championship. The Packers could have won this game. They should have won this game.
You picked them to win, and I picked Eagles, yeah.
Should have. Yeah. But this is when the Rams, who are not the better team.
No.
The team doesn't always win.
Right.
Yeah, but here, with the story, I mean, forget the storyline. I get it. We just briefly went over it. But I can see everything. Puka, Kupp. The secondary for the Eagles is super suspect. You saw a little bit of it against the Packers. It's not that great. You need Jalen Hurts and Barkley have to go ball out to beat this Rams team. I don't think they will. I think maybe one of them will. I don't think they're going to have a complete game. The Rams are going to win this game.
I'm sticking with my Eagles pick. I know that they're going to take care of business at home. Either way, we can both agree that Sean McVay, man, pat yourself on the back. This guy that a Super Bowl winning coach who I feel like it almost doesn't matter the team that you get. Here's your team. Go coach them up, and he coaches them to a winning record and now a playoff win. So no matter what happens, kudos to McVay.
Yeah, McVay makes more sense as coach of the year more than Tomlin that you said, who lost 4 in a row, and I told you they're going to lose 5 in a row. 2, the Ravens. Ravens, Chris, they're going against the Buffalo Bills. This right here is the game of the week. Is the game everybody's looking forward to.
It's the game of the week.
2 MVP candidates going up against each other. They're playing in Buffalo. It doesn't matter. Is that going to be an advantage for Allen? But the Ravens look unstoppable. The Ravens, Bills, who cares about the point spread? Because this game is going to be on fire. Who you got?
So I'm going to ignore that backhanded slap on the coach of the year because you didn't pick McVay either. So, anyways, doesn't matter. So he's not going to win. He's not going to win anyway.
Yeah, but it's a big.
So, Florida Man Sports, spreading all major platforms. Yeah, this is going to be game of the week, Johnny. I mean, no matter what, right? Ravens and Bills, man, this is exciting. And here's another public service announcement, folks.
Okay.
The winner of this game is going to win the Super Bowl. The winner of this game is going to win MVP. You heard it right here. I've been calling this.
MVP's already decided. Okay? What are you talking about?
I know. Just it helps. It helps.
Okay.
The winner will have their name forever etched in the history books. And that winner and that team,
Divisional
Johnny Cinco, is going to be the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. The Bills are at home, and for Lamar Jackson to go in to Buffalo, I already told you, to go into Buffalo and to pull out a win like he's going to is going to be nothing short of amazing, and I'm going to be there front and center on the TV for it, and give me the Ravens to win. Give me Lamar Jackson MVP to get his team that W.
Well, they should win. They're the better team. The Ravens are the better team. They are. But this guy, because you guys don't, I mean, he called the Ravens preseason, but I've been hearing this yapping about the Bills are winning.
Ravens
are winning. And now all of a sudden you're saying that you're going back to your original pick. Good call.
No, I've never said the Bills anything. What are you talking
about? You have been like the Bills are going to take it this year. The Bills are doing it.
I never said that.
Okay.
Wow, my co-host has been doing another podcast with somebody else.
I'm gonna put up the text message.
Please,
put it up there.
I would love to see that. I
remember you said it.
Okay.
Said it. But no, I get it. I understand everything you're saying. The Ravens look unstoppable, and they should win this game. But Buffalo did what they needed to do to get that home field. They get that home field. They're going to be playing in Buffalo, and because it's in Buffalo, they're going to win, and we're going to see what we've seen way too many times, but still, Mahomes, Allen, AFC Championship. That's what I guess the NFL is going to want. I think Buffalo's going to get a little bit of that home cooking.
Texans, Ravens, AFC Championship.
Oh, like nobody wants to see Texans and Ravens.
That's what it's going to be.
We saw that last year in the divisional round, and it was like a blowout by the Ravens.
Yeah, but
they didn't even have Henry.
But like I said, this team's looking different. They dropped 28 points last game. Yeah,
nobody wants to see the Ravens and Texans again. NFL isn't going to allow. Listen, it's not. Certain things are scripted.
If I'm right for the following episode, can you show this just like you're adding stuff? Could you do that for us so you can see how when you said that?
What am I doing?
When I'm right and you're wrong, can you grab this expert for the next episode?
So what am I supposed to do? Like if you're right and I'm wrong, put something that say, hey, he's right.
Exactly.
And what do I do when I'm right? Because I haven't been putting any high level.
Whoever thinks about that.
Yeah. Anyway, Chris, it's going to be exciting. I know that we have the NFL playoffs, but quick thing here, I just want to get your take on college football. College football, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Who you got? National championship.
What did you call to win?
Well, I called Texas, and Texas didn't win it. They were out last round.
Okay.
You called
Ohio State.
Oregon, who was out immediately. He was gone immediately there. Texas, they had a shot. It was a great game against Ohio State. Ohio State, Notre Dame, who you got?
Who do I want or who do I think?
Nobody cares who you want. Who's winning the game?
Ohio State.
Notre Dame's winning this game because screw Ohio.
I want Notre Dame, but Ohio State's going to win.
Ohio State, I get it. A seed. They looked at the best team. I understand that in the playoffs, but screw Ohio State. Any University of Miami fan knows to screw Ohio State. Never root for them. Never pick them. Hate every single one of them.
And just for that reason, they're going to win.
Yeah.
Florida Man Sports, we're on all major platforms. As always, folks, please like, share, and subscribe. Johnny, as the season is coming to a close, we already passed the Black Monday where the coaches started to get fired. 6 openings in the NFL. It's a mess, but we already started to get the ball rolling, if you will.
Okay.
And let's start with the Patriots, where Vrabel's the guy.
Yeah.
He got the job after a very short interview time. What are your thoughts on the hiring? And do you want to give me my flowers for calling this one from the top rope 3 weeks ago? Go.
Everyone 3 weeks ago, everyone called Vrabel. From everything you were adding, you added some little spice, some little soap opera spice to it. But everybody the reports, everything I've read was that the Patriots, they were premature on hiring O.J. Mayo. They rushed to hire him thinking he was better than what he was, and they were really disappointed in the defensive, he's a defensive coach, and they were next to last in every vital defensive stat. So they saw that this guy isn't as good as we thought he was. Yes, we paid him the money, but hey, you want to hate on him at Patriot, it's a guaranteed contract. He's getting paid his full contract for doing nothing. And they decided that, no, that since Vrabel's available, we're going to pick him up. Because guess what? If you don't pick him up, your rival's going to pick him up.
Who cares?
It makes more sense. Mike Vrabel is an outstanding coach. Every Patriot fan who grew up watching the Patriots in the last 20 years knows Mike Vrabel. They knows what he brought to the team. We're happy he's back on board. Yes, you can hate him all you want, but this is a prime pick for the Patriots. The best decision they could have done. Well done.
So is Gerard Mayo. Also the guy who played for the Patriots for many years. Also the guy who was coached under the greatest coach of all time. You know what? First of all,
did he have head
you had your chance. You had your chance, sir.
Vrabel does have,
sir. You had your chance.
One playoff game,
sir. You had your chance. So first of all, as far as grades, this is a C. A C. No, because it's important. People know it's a C, and here's why it's a C.
Why is it a C, Chris?
You don't give the coach that you brought in the opportunity to do his thing. You don't expect more than those 4 wins. And this confirms, it proves what I said before, that he knew before the game that he was going to get fired. He knew. So he said, you know what, Milton, go ball out. Screw the Patriots because this is a complete garbage. He was literally laughing on the sidelines. Talking about Mayo. Gerard Mayo. He was literally laughing in the sidelines. So it just confirms what I know. So anyways, a lot of teams, they take a step back to take a leap forward. You took a step back to go slowly forward because all you did is basically wait another year for this coach to get a freebie because first-year coaches normally get a freebie, win 5 games to get a good draft pick. You wasted your time, New England. And for a franchise that this guy always says is the top-of-the-notch franchises of the world, that this was a bad move, period.
No, they recognized their mistake and they didn't let it drag on for too long. The mistake was done by Mayo by winning that final game. So that's the mistake because we could have really set ourselves up with.
You're really saying that he got fired for 1 game? You think that's why he got fired? He knew he was getting fired, Johnny. He knew he was fired.
I just told you that all the reports I read were that he didn't get fired because of that. I think it has something to do with it. I think it did play a part. But the one things that were confirmed is that the Patriots defense was terrible. And this guy, yes, we expected lumps on offense, but defensively we expected gains. We had a good defense, young players, and some veterans there. So the fact that we weren't in the middle of the pack or maybe the top half, we were in the bottom barrel of the important defensive stats. It was something that really it was concerning to the Kraft family. And they said, you know what, Vrabel, we know him. We know that he was a head coach who won playoff games, who can coach. You have the history of it. Yes, O.J. Mayo obviously was part of the Patriot War. Still,
just a year ago, you were talking about he was handpicked by the franchise.
You're disagreeing. I think you're quoting Quinn there because for me, I was never, ever a fan of Mayo. I said from the beginning, if you want to go back to the tape, Chris, that was a mistake for us to let go of Belichick. For me, it's simple. The guy earned the right to leave when the heck he wanted to leave. I don't care what.
You did say that part. I'll agree with that.
He should have stayed there till he wanted to leave. But hey, the Kraft family felt different. They went Mayo. I said it was a mistake, but hey, it is what it is. It's the guy. You're quoting. Don't misquote me with Quinn. Don't misquote me with the guy who drafts players who are not even in the NFL anymore. Don't do that.
From one team who just did a terrible coaching hire because they didn't need to do one, to another team who just decided to fire their coach after 5 years. We also hear that Jerry Jones finally made a decision. McCarthy is out in Dallas, Johnny. What are your thoughts? Good move, bad move? And, of course, at this point, who are we going to see there next?
Jones doesn't make any sense with anything. Listen, I don't know. I think I know what you're going to say, but I don't know. We didn't really discuss it beforehand. But the fact that McCarthy's gone is fine. It's fine with me. He didn't do what the job they brought him in to do with Dallas. So the fact that he's gone is fine. But they didn't allow him to talk to the Bears. They thought they were going to work something out. The reports are read that they just couldn't come up to an agreement, meaning he was trying to re-sign him. But I don't know. We'll find out the details later. Probably was trying to put a bunch of contingencies in his contract. And he's kind of like, why the hell would I do that? I don't need to do that. But good riddance. I mean, that's not a coaching job that's coveted anymore. Yes, it's still a coaching job in the NFL, but it's a huge headache when you have the owner as the GM who's not really allowing you to act to your strengths. So, I don't know. What do you think about the mess, Chris?
I think it's a terrible move. I think that fans and a lot of teams that win, like Pittsburgh Steelers, I feel like there's teams like that they win 10 plus games consistently, and they sometimes don't understand what it is to be on the other side. Like, I really don't. If you look at this guy's record, Johnny, he's won 12 out of the 5 seasons. He's won 12 games 3 times. The 2 times that he didn't, in other words, he won 12-4, 12-4, 12-4, and then the 2 injury seasons with Dak. So if you look at his record like that, 3 playoff berths. To give you an example, Jason Garrett, who he replaced, had double the time and only 2 playoff appearances. So Jason Garrett gets 10 years to waste your time, Jerry Jones.
He didn't have 10 years.
He did. I'm looking at it right here, brother. He had 10 seasons.
Jason Garrett had 10 seasons.
He had 10 seasons, and he had a 559 record. McCarthy 583. So it's like, again, that's why for me it's like you pull the cord early and then you let Garrett run. My point is this: you had other teams that were coveting, that wanted to interview him, like the Bears. Remember, that came out. So you have somebody there. So I think that you're right. I think I'll give you this. I think that he probably wanted some type of contingencies, making him tradable maybe as a coach or something. And he was like, you know what? I'm done with this. And I'm going to tell you something, how you know he is a great coach. He was a Super Bowl champion coach. He's going to find a job this season. I don't know what team yet. This season, he's finding a job because that's how good of a coach he is. And Jerry Jones is an idiot. Sorry.
Yes, Jerry Jones is an idiot, but McCarthy didn't earn that spot again. I don't care if that Jerry Jones held on to Garrett too long. At the end of the day, you're here, not necessarily to win Super Bowls. You haven't won Super Bowl in 30 plus years, Cowboys.
Right.
So, but you need to win playoff games. So, I won 12-4. Okay, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Get to the NFC Championship.
See, they don't until you become the Cleveland Browns and you win 3 games for the next 10 years. So, you know what I mean? Like, I get what you're saying. You're not wrong. You got to win playoff games. The Cowboys demand a lot, but you also got to be grateful that you're 12-4 3 years in a row. Like, that's freaking awesome. I hope the Bucs are 12-4 the next 3 years.
Yeah, but do you hope them to go ahead and be 1-out every single time? So that's the thing is, like, oh, you're 12-4, you're 1-out every single time. Nobody cares what you do in the regular season if you're 1-out. Now, if you sprinkle in 1 or 2 playoff games wins during that, then hey, you made it to the NFC Championship. Hey, you made it to you made it to the Super Bowl. You won a Super Bowl.
I'll leave it at this, Johnny, because we can agree to disagree. But out of those 5 years, 2 NFC East championships, and then 3 playoff, and then 3 playoff berths in 5 years. And again, I can't stress this enough. 2 of those years, Dak was hurt. 2 of those years.
No, listen, I don't want to hear the excuses. Whatever.
Bottom line is this. I just want to forget. They got the 12th pick in the draft, so it's not like you fired the coach, right? Not like you got the number 1 pick or something for you to start fresh with a coach. You got the 12th pick. So for Jerry Jones, what is the plan here? Who replaces this guy?
Well, McCarthy, I think, is going to sign with the Bears. I think he is going to go ahead and see what he can do with Caleb Williams. And obviously the reports that I've been reading, same as you, is that he's really pushing for Deion Sanders, which I don't know. Colorado really wants him.
He's already interviewed with him. Okay.
Well, he's not interviewed with them. He's a former Cowboy there. He's, I think in their Ring of Honor. But he had to sit down with Jerry Jones and they talked about it. But it has to be something big. I mean, Deion has said that he's not going to the NFL. The only time he would consider going to the NFL if he can coach, be there, and coach both of his sons. Not one, not just Shadir Sanders. He wants to coach his other son, who is not projected even to be drafted, maybe in the late rounds. He's their defensive player there.
He's trying to pull LeBron James.
So he's trying to, but I get it. Hey, why not? Like, hey, if I'm going to do it, give me everything I got, everything I want. But the problem with that is that, yes, picking up your second son's not an issue. You can go ahead and figure that out. You're not going to get Shadir Sanders with the 12th pick. So it's not going to happen.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. I thought about that. So let's say, to your point, they're bringing in a new coach. That's already a formality. It's done, right? The only way to move up in the draft, Johnny, to your point, to try to draft him is what? Is to trade Dak. And Dak. And I looked at the picks. I don't see a team in the top 5, in the top 7 that are like, let me take a injury-prone Dak and your 17th pick for that. I don't see a team that's doing that. So I don't even see it as a possibility.
Well, the problem is that if you're going, it is possible because there are teams that are going to want Dak.
You got to give more than the first-round pick then. You got to give Dak and like maybe 2 first-round picks to move up.
Well, at the end of the day, all he wants is going to go ahead and somebody take Dak, take that money off the table and give them their pick. So look at who's in the running at the top pick. I mean, the Patriots. So it's like, are they going to consider maybe trade him to the Giants? Dak to the same division? Are you really going to consider trading him to any of those terrible teams, especially ones in your division? It's going to be difficult to do. So Deion's not going to go unless he's guaranteed, a top 2 or 3 pick because they know that he wants his son to be the quarterback, whatever team. I mean, to be a quarterback at Dallas.
Here's what this looks like. And there's allegedly supposed to be going in the top 5, top 7. So here's just real quick the top 5, right?
Okay.
You got the Titans on number 1. Again, thinking about Dak. You got the Browns on number 2. You got the Giants on number 3. You got the Patriots on number 4. The Jaguars on number 5. The Raiders at 6. And the Jets at 7. So tell me what team would give you their number 1 pick for Prescott at his age with his injuries?
Well, Tennessee will give it to you because Tennessee already has Mayo. So they're fine with going ahead and like, all right, give me, 3 first-rounders. And they're not done with Mayo. They're going to keep him for at least another couple of years, if not at least 1 more year. So I can see them making that move. Deion is already
and letting him sit after 2 years and letting him sit for the 3rd year and seeing what they have in him.
So on Mayo?
Yeah.
No, they're keeping Mayo.
That's what I'm saying. Keeping him letting Prescott play.
No, yes. I mean, why the heck not? He's not costing you anything. So that's a real possibility. What's not possible are the Browns. The Browns not going to happen because even Deion said that he would never allow Shadir to go ahead and play for the Browns. It didn't happen that he's on the list. Like, nope, you better pass or you're going to trade those rights. Or the Browns can go ahead and make that move. The Browns are the Browns can pull what they did with Eli Manning, the Chargers did, say, I don't care, I'm going to draft you anyway, and then force the trade, which makes sense. They trade. Watson is a joke. The problem is, I don't know if the Browns can do it because of the money, because they owe so much money to Watson. They're not going to be able to afford the contract between Watson and Prescott.
Again, we got to get to the logistics of that. But to your point, if that were to happen, I'm pretty sure that Cowboys have to eat up a lot of Prescott's contract because they're the ones trading him. So in other words, they wouldn't be responsible for the full amount. So there may be some room there because the word is that Watson's done, period, after that second re-injury.
Well, come on, it was done regardless, and then he goes in and tears the Achilles again, just in Miami, getting a foot rub. But it's still, regardless, it's not going to work with Cleveland. It's not going to. Dallas it's the money comes down to if you're trading somebody, that's all negotiable. Like, he's going to go ahead, I'm going to take half of it, take all of it, you're going to take all of it. It's all negotiable. Obviously, it's less money, surprisingly, with Dak guaranteed money than even Watson still. Watson, ridiculous, fully guaranteed. Nobody's going to take that contract. It's too complicated. It ain't going to happen with the Browns. It's not going to. So the Giants is the 3rd pick. The problem with the Giants, you're going to trade your quarterback to your divisional. I haven't seen it. It's happened before. The Patriots went ahead and traded him to Drew Bledsoe to the Buffalo Bills when they brought Tom Brady. But they did that because Kraft loved Drew Bledsoe and said, tell me where you want to go because of the situation here. After Bledsoe just signed a 10-year deal with the Patriots, allowed him to go ahead and go to the Buffalo Bills just because he loved them like a son. But that's not going to be the norm. That's not going to happen.
I asked the question because bottom line, this answers but it makes my point, Johnny, that Jerry Jones, rather than keeping McCarthy, keeping the team that just won the previous year 12 wins, right? Like I said, would rather at his age, blow up the team to try to trade up, if possibly to get Deion and his son. How long is that going to take before you win a ring, Jerry? I hate to say this, brother. You're old. You basically are restarting with that Cowboys team. You need a running back for the upcoming season. You have position, you have offensive guard, linebacker, edge
everything
to address. Right, exactly. So it's like at the end of the day, you made your job harder, Jerry Jones. That's my point.
listen, the Cowboys are not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything this year. Not going to do anything next year, the year after that. They're just not. They're a mess, a complete mess, which is what happens. Listen, Jerry Jones bought this team. It's in record. I bought this team to run it. I wanted to run it. He's not interested in understanding, hey, I'm going to hire people that are better football minds than I. They're not. He's like, no, in his mind, he is the best. Humility and Jerry Jones don't ever go in the same sentence. In his mind, he is the greatest football mind. Nobody can do the job he can. He's delirious and thinking.
Kudos to him for loving what he does, and kudos to him for buying the team and doing what he wants.
I get it. If you watch Land,
I just think he's doing bad.
And he saw him that show. He was there, acted like himself. He did a really good line talking about, well, I don't know if that's real or not, the things he said, but the dude was on point on having family, and he bought this team for family to be together. But ultimately, he bought the team to make decisions and be the man. He wants not just the rings. He wants the rings were because of me. And he doesn't understand that even if he hires someone better than him as a GM and they win, you're still going to get the same credit. You're the owner. But no, can't be a player, but he wants to just be not just the owner, the GM. If he could play, he probably would. I'm surprised he didn't name himself the coach. I won't be surprised, Chris, if he says, you know what, he's going to coach the team this year, and we'll see what happens, because he's so full of it that wouldn't be surprising at all.
Listen, Florida Man Sports, folks, again, just want to remind you guys, thank you for listening and tuning in. We are streaming on all those major platforms, and by this time next week for next episode, we cut down the NFL race gets closer, right? The NFC, AFC Championship, and we'll have hopefully some more coaching vacancies filled to talk about. Any last words before we roll?
No. Is looking forward to next week like everybody else. Basketball's rolling, Chris, as you know.
Yep.
But I'm looking forward to baseball season, but that's a long way away.
And a lot of announcements coming up too in the future. He's Johnny. I'm Christian. We're out, y'all.
Later.